So this piece is called Moko Speaks of Mountains. And although I'm a quilt maker, I tried something a little bit different here. It's still fabric, but not a quilt. It's a tapestry, and then it's wrapped around the canvas. And well, so low-key, true story, I am a Moko Jumbie, and I wanted to make a whole series of Moko Jumbie inspired pieces. And this is the second in the series. And this one's called Moko Speaks of Mountains. And there's this moment I find I always have, especially when you're in the Queen's Park Savannah and you look up at a Moko Jumbie and you see them, but they allow you to see everything else that you probably wouldn't have seen if you hadn't looked up. And one of the favorite things for me is to see the mountains in the background on a Moko. And I love the way they kind of own that space and at the same time help us look up and see things that are there every day, but we don't always pay attention to. So this is Moko Speaks of Mountains. I wanted something that looked simple and fun, and that did two things. Yeah, you're going to see the Moko Jumbie, but you're also going to see the lovely greenery of the North Coast behind it. So that was my idea with Moko Speaks of Mountains. Okay.
But I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
And I have to bring it back to the show being about people of African descent, and now the relationship of Moko Jumbies to Africa, and even talking about that relationship between Moko Jumbies, Africa, and Trinidad. And the tale is that Moko Jumbies left West Africa, crossed the Atlantic Sea, and walked into Trinidad, we say, Mayaro side. That's the tale, right? And I mean, that when I saw the piece, that's what kind of interests me. Before you spoke about it, that already I could understand that relationship between what you're doing here and the theme of this show. So I don't know if I stepped away for a second, so I don't know if you spoke about that, did you?
I didn't talk about that, but that's part of why I love Moko Jumbies in general, and being a Moko Jumbie and representing them as well. Because for me, it's that connection. Even if it's whether it's folklore or what, but the idea that you're connecting literally the African continent, the ocean, and that oceanic crossing, and then the New World. And you know what Moko Jumbie means too, right? Moko is that African word for spirit, and then Jumbie is our Caribbean word for spirit. So a spirit, and just this tall figure. And then Moko Jumbies, to me, just even the name and the sound of the word that has that kind of African evocation. So there's the history, the image, the movement, and you know, there's stick walkers all over the world, but what makes the Moko Jumbie distinct? They dance. And so that's the other thing to trying to capture here. So to me, every time you see a Moko Jumbie, that is our culture, that is our Caribbean contribution, and a callback to our African descent. Yeah.
And you spoke about trying to achieve movement in your pieces, and again, now looking at this, and this is the conversation that we're having here, speaking about the Moko Jumbie dancing, even not necessarily having to see movement in the visual piece, I can now imagine movement in my head. So I think you're even able to achieve that in talking about this in a realm outside of just visually. Like I'm imagining the Moko Jumbie. I'm imagining your Moko Jumbie dancing. I imagine your Moko Jumbie making all that movement. So that goes beyond the canvas. It goes beyond the visual piece. So it's now in my head like, yes, I could see the movement. And then when I translated back to this, I could see all the glistening, the shimmer and everything of the, I don't know what you call these things. I used to know, but I don't know anymore. And that gives it a very dynamic feel, a feel that I could actually see this Moko Jumbie now crossing the Atlantic, stepping onto Trinidad. Me imagine this is Trinidad and dancing this way into our environment. And again, Moko Jumbies being that tall figure, they also see, they're supposed to be protectors as well. Like they're supposed to be able to see danger from afar. So I don't know, that's just my feeling. That's just my take on the piece.
Yay, mission accomplished. And you know, you're right, they are protectors. So being protection and care of and consciousness of the environment is something I'm interested in as well. And so that would be like paragraph 4 or 5, but that's part of what the piece is about as well. Part of what this Moko Jumbie is protecting and having us see and having us value is the environment, is the mountains, is the greenery, is our world.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nice, I like that.
Awesome. I love the work.
Thank you. All right. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I don't know if this is the end, but I'm just going to say thanks for watching. Thanks, Danielle, for being a part of this, and see you in the next video.